In this lesson, we will explore how an OpenFOAM case is structured. Every simulation in OpenFOAM follows a consistent folder setup that makes it easy to organize and modify files. So, each OpenFOAM simulation case has three main folders. Zero folder, which is having initial and boundary conditions. Constant folder, which is having physical properties and mesh details. System folder, which is having simulation control. Okay, you can see a screenshot of the OpenFOAM directory, OpenFOAM tutorial directory, in which all the files are here: zero directory, constant directory, and system directory. Okay, the zero directory. Okay, so this directory contains files like velocity, pressure, temperatures. These define initial conditions and boundary conditions for the simulation. Okay, so here this is an example in which temperature boundary condition is not there, but yeah, you will find, like if you'll do the heat transfer, so heat transfer simulation, so you will find temperature and other boundary conditions also. So this is the example of cavity flow, so there only velocity and pressure boundary conditions have been given. Okay, next one is constant directory. So here we define material properties, example viscosity, in transport properties, and store the mesh information. All right, so you can see inside the constant directory polymesh is given. So polymesh is basically the storing of the mesh information. Okay, and these are the transport properties or other constant properties which you want to define, like the gravity, viscosity, or any other water transport, air, about the air physical properties, any physical properties you wanted to define. Okay, so you have to define it here. All right, the next one is the system directory or system folder. Okay, so this directory defines how the simulation runs, start time, end time, solver settings, and mesh generation. So the important files are controlDict, fvSchemes, which is for discretization schemes, fvSolution, which is for solver settings. Okay, you can find many others, so in the later on I will explain that. But yeah, there is one more common file, which is blockMeshDict, which contains the information of the mesh. Okay, so these are the files, these are the common key files of system directory of OpenFOAM. Okay, so in the summary, we can say that okay, there are three main directories inside an OpenFOAM simulation directory: zero inside an OpenFOAM case, zero, constant, and system. And there inside all the things are there in the zero directory: initial and boundary conditions, constant, physical properties and mesh, system directory, simulation control. So now that we know the case structure, let's run our first simulation, the lid driven cavity flow.